All right, cool. So I got notes. Got notes. All right, so the next part of the series, I'm going to be going over the top five VSTs, distributors, not top five VSTs, top VST distributors. I gotta open my phone really quick because I want to make sure that I mention the right person's name while I am going over this video. So if you'll give me a second, I'm gonna pull his information up really quick because he actually gave me a shout out and he got kind of sentimental on the comments. So I was like feeling a little gangster, so I didn't respond. But I told him I'll make a video, so it's cool. This is the wrong app. So yeah, the the Akai MPK Mini. Why would my phone shut down in the middle? That's one of them things. You guys already know. I do layback videos, so it's one of them things. I will be chopping these up, so maybe that will make it into the final cutting board. Maybe not. But at the end of the day, I just make sure these are really laid back. So I'm not just like, hey guys, you know, even though I am like that sometimes. All right, so looking at my comment section. Cool, let me pull this up because I like giving shout outs. You know what I'm saying? You give credit where it's due. You know, somebody needs a pat on the back, give them a pat on the back. Y'all have been hitting my comment section up too like crazy. All right, so Ghetto Bandit Records. Shout out to Ghetto Bandit Records. That's who I'm shouting out to. All right. So he asked me. Let me see if I can pull up the full conversation. This guy has a really good sense of humor. I'll just read the final comment, or the one that's relevant. Relevant. All right, so I want to buy some plugins for this. Which ones do you recommend getting? So I'm not gonna name any plugins per se. Maybe I'll name a couple. I'll just name the companies because it would really be an injustice to you for me to just give you a couple plugins and then you start with those. But there's so many. It just depends on what you want to do. And so what I want you to focus on is VSTI, virtual instruments, because VSTs can be plugins that work as instruments that are triggered by the MIDI, and then they can also be, you got this company called Waves, and they have these bundles of plugins, and they're like top of the line. And so, but those plugins are strictly for effects, like, you know, delay, reverb, chorus, X crackle, X hits. That's where you know, do restoration or taking low end or high end sounds or compressing vocals and things like that. So there's a lot of different types of VSTs, but I want you to focus on VSTI. And if you are using a Mac, AU plugins as well. All right, so I'll start with number 5, and this is not like a top 5 like of all time or right now list. This is just the top 5 off the top of my head that I wrote down before I got ready to do this video. So this will get you started. So if you check out these companies, you check out their best VSTs, you'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? But it's only like a reference point for you to, you know, start with. You know what I'm saying? It's not, this is not the say all end all. Like cats ask you, yo, who is your top 5 of all time, and dead or alive, and you know, Pac gotta be in it, or you know, you can't put Pac in it, or you can't put Biggie in, because this is not that serious. Tupac or Biggie, it's not that serious. All right, so number 5 is Akai Multimedia. Akai Multimedia if you do a Google search, and I'll put links for these companies in the description box. So cool. Akai Multimedia makes and all of these companies that I'm about to mention, let me make sure, make, with the exception of a couple, all of these companies make mobile VSTs as well. And so if you buy a full version on the actual PC or Mac that you have, you should be able to also buy a mobile version separately though. You don't get both. So yeah, Akai Multimedia makes some really dope VSTs. One in particular is Sample Tank, and so that's kind of like, to me, that's been their flagship product. If you talk to one of their people, they may tell you different. All right, number 4, gospelmusicians.com. If you look for them on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of tutorials that are really intuitive, and they have VSTs that they make from scratch, and they do the coding, and they have some amazing Rhodes VSTs. If you like the Rhodes piano joint, if you like electric pianos, dude, top of the line stuff, top of the line. All right, so number 3, actually these are kind of like being a little bit higher on the ladder. Eastwest.com. I think East West may have a different. If you look up East West and VSTs, and I'll link to, of course, I'll link in the description. But East West is an amazing software developer, and so you should definitely check them out. Okay, so number 2 and number 1 are my absolute favorites, and it's a plethora of companies. But if you have these top 2, you should be straight. Like, you wouldn't, if you use these top 2 companies, then you should be straight, like on making beats, period. But you never can have enough VSTs, you know what I'm saying? As much as your hard drive will support. And was tripped out. I was doing some research this morning. I'm gonna give you the top 2. Just be patient. Western Digital just dropped a 4 terabyte external drive. It's the tiny joint, so it's like you can have 4,000 gigs on you at any given time. It's crazy. Anyways, all right. So number 2, Roland, Korg, and Moog. The reason why I put these in the same category is because, like, you need all 3 of these. You don't have to have all 3, but it's kind of like they work so well together. And if you've been a musician for a while, you already know what type of weight these particular brands carry already. But Roland is known for their live stage equipment. In the hip hop community, you heard the 808. In the dance community, you heard the 909, the 606. The hip hop community, you've heard of the MC 505 as well. But when you hear 808, they made the 808. Like, the 808 is from Roland. And so when you think Roland, you think Roland 808, you think like hard hitting bass, nice crackly snares, crispy hi-hats and whatnot. That's Roland all day. Although they do synthesizers and they do everything, bro. They do everything. And the thing that I like about Roland is that they make VSTs that are just as simple to use as their hardware. And so not only do they make VSTs, but they make hardware, and their hardware is super simple. Especially the let me make sure I'm still recording here. Yeah, especially the sequencers on their hardware. And so some of their stuff is DAW specific, and so like I'm sure that they still have that deal with Sonar, which is in conjunction with Cakewalk makes Sonar Producer Edition, and so when you buy Sonar, you get every Roland synthesizer and drum kit in this one particular VST, which is really amazing. But Roland, all right, Korg is known for just I want to say robotic sound, because you know, in hip hop, when the Korg Triton really got popular, hip hop had a certain metallic, and this is just my opinion, it had a certain robotic type of sound. The sequences are just super tight, but Korg has a legacy series, and the Korg MS-20 will battle the Moog all day, although the Moog will definitely step on the Korg MS-20. But when you put the MS-20 with the Poly 6, it's crazy. So, you know, if you look up Poly 6, you look up Korg MS-20, you'll see that alone these VSTs they're pretty expensive, but in the long run, if you're able to invest in these VSTs, man, you're straight. But the legacy sale, the Korg legacy sale, is all of those vintage Korg hardware devices in VST form, and you can't beat that, man, because, you know, when you buy these hardware devices standalone, you're going to pay, okay? All right, so there's nothing wrong with paying. Okay, of course I mentioned the Moog, Robert Moog. They have the mini Moog, they have the full-size Moog VST, and then they have the Mooger Fooger. Let me check my notes here, make sure that I am on point. So yeah, I'm on point. So that's the top 5. Akai Multimedia at 5, gospelmusicians.com at 4, East West, not East West University, because that's a popular brand, but it has nothing to do with music. East West, I think they may be soundsonline.com, but don't quote me on that. I'll put the link in the description. Roland, Korg, Moog at number 2, and then number 1, Native Instruments. Native Instruments has been killing it, and they're my number 1 because they've been killing it since Jimmy Crack Corn. No, seriously, they've been killing it for a long time. I would dare to say that probably every album that you hear on the radio today has some type of instrument that's being played through Contact, which is like one of their instruments. I mean, they have so many sound sets. And if you're going to invest in a VST right off the jump, I would say go see Native Instruments. Go to native-instruments.com and grab Massive. Massive is pretty expensive for like a beginner producer, but if you got it like that, you'll be straight. So Massive has everything from localized hip-hop drums to world drums, pianos, strings, world sounds. I mean, everything from like timbales to kotos, all different types of instruments, man. Orchestra sounds. The instrumentation of Contact. Contact is not a instrument per se, but it's a open source VST that you can load other sounds into. And so when you have Contact, you can also I don't want to say connect with other producers, but you can go online and you can buy sounds from developers. Sometimes producers will write their own coding and sounds or make their own VSTs that will work inside of Contact. And so Contact is just amazing. And so yeah, Native Instruments is my number one. There are some that I left out. If you guys can write in the comment section and let people know, hey yo, I use this. You know, Bro Love's all wrong. You know, he don't know. He's not the guru of, you know, software developmentation when it comes to VSTs. That's totally fine, because if you guys put something in there I don't know about, I learn as well. So I'm totally down for that. I'm ready for y'all trolls. It's Troll Nation. Don't act like you can't get trolled on as well. You dig what I'm talking about? Alright, so long as y'all underdug that, that'll conclude this part of the series. So that will be the top 5 VST distributor companies that I would recommend you using. Whether you use a Akai MPK Mini or some other controller, you should be straight. Alright, cool.